So in relation to this, there are two aspects. The immediate one, when a country is wrought by such civil unrest and instability and this criminalized looting, is that authority must be stamped and it must be used immediately with its full power. And I say this as somebody who would never have imagined under our democracy we might need things like states of emergency and the military on the ground reinforcing the police. And there is an element of that where we are concerned, and that is the overplay, as we've seen at times, by security forces in dealing with the public. But we need firmness, and we need looters arrested. We need a stopping to the mayhem. We've seen a turnaround taking place in Gauteng, and we're hoping to see over the next few days that normality will slowly return, because this abnormality won't continue, and the Zuma grouping have no real strength and power to carry this through any further. So the first thing for government is that kind of firmness and resolve. I think one weakness we have because of those Zuma years is that these departments are not up to full strength. There are weaknesses there. The Minister of State Security or Defense and the police, etc., are battling to mobilize the forces, the powers that be, in the best possible way. And I think we've got a lot to thank those security forces on the ground. But in addition to this, we see coming back into the equation something from the early 1990s, and that was the communities linking in with the security forces to bring about normality and to protect these sources of food and supplies. And it's a key element which is going to be vital to government going forward to ensure that they're able to give a leadership to those structures so that there is a harmony between the way civil society and the neighborhood works with police, with the police and the government. And that's the immediate requirement. Coming back to what I've been referring to as something that we were anticipating, we were talking about how many of you in the media, the commentators, the analysts, the university people, the researchers, people like myself and others with articulation, if I might say, or who wanted to speak to the public, was saying we can't allow an economic system such as the one we have in place that's widening the gaps between wealth and poverty and not dealing with the unemployment issue, the fact that the youth see no future, the huge poverty and hunger, that unless that's addressed, that South Africa can't survive in a normal way, in a way of building our resources, our human resources, our economic resources, our way of ensuring the distribution of wealth. And I'm not now talking about from Blade and Zamandi's point of view of raising a red flag and saying it's only socialism. That needs to be looked at, because I don't see free market capitalism anywhere in the world having provided the answer to this insecurity that human beings are facing. So let me immediately then say what I'm talking about is something like Franklin D. Roosevelt, the president of the United States, who led the United States out of a depression. And you'll recall from history, his recipe went against the current economic thinking of his day, which is all about austerity, free market, the role of the corporates to raise up the country, the trickle-down effect of wealth that Reagan and Thatcher brought back into the equation with what we call the neoliberal economy, which is something, our big error, which South Africa fed into. And it's for Ramaphosa now, and I'm not just saying we believe in a particular human being, but there's a new dawn that's been talked about. We can't just have the same recipe and formula peddled out by an ANC that appears at times to be in denialism in relation to the fact that we've been saying there are going to be bread riots. There's going to be mayhem unless we can provide food on the table. And what Roosevelt did was he brought in his New Deal, that switch in the economy, which pushed back austerity measures, brought in spending, brought in the New Deal, which is all about creating public works programs in which the masses became involved, where people had money placed in their pockets, which brought food on the table, which brought a respite, which led America into a whole new economic developmental program of that time.